Well, good morning, and thank you very much for joining us. I am Yori Folani Hope. The continuing holidays is going well, one extra day, but the serious business, really terrorism, banditry, those are the distressing subjects that we're looking at this morning, and I'm calling them distressing because the Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Alia, has actually cried out. He went public last week and said that his state was under siege by terrorists and bandits. Okay, we'll look at that today. And just before I go further, I go ahead, I noticed, and of course this is coming against the backdrop of incessant attacks, and it does look as if matters might not be within the control of law and order anymore in Benue State. Okay, traditionally, people have been thinking of, look, farmers and herders clashes. All of this, if you take it back long enough, it goes back to a law that has been, erected that you can't just be driving your cattle up and down the place. This hasn't been, not everybody has liked this particular law. And so it has led to tensions. But we'll find out what exactly, in other words, ranching is the preferred method of cattle breeding. Now, talking of cattle breeding, I saw a publication this morning where Mayati Allah Makban, Mayati Allah Cattle Breeders Association of Nigeria, also put out a notice that they themselves, people should just understand what's going on. Their cattle, is being endangered. In fact, some of them have been killed, and indeed some cattle, herders or farmers or rearers were actually killed themselves. So there's that background. So all of that, what has really brought about this particular conversation we're about to go into is when the governor went on air last week and said that Benue is under siege by terrorists and bandits. Let me introduce Mr. Teso Kulas. Mr. Teso Kulas joins us via Zoom. He is the Chief Press Secretary to the Benue State Governor. A fine morning to you, Teso. Thank you for coming on the program.
Before I greet you.
Indeed. These are tough times, bearing in mind your governor's, shall we say, he reached out. He reached out and he said that things are very, very bad. Now, very, very bad because he talked about a siege by terrorists and bandits in Benue. And the worrying aspect that perhaps you'll sort of explain is he also felt that there was sponsorship of these elements from Abuja. What is that about? What can you add to what the governor has already said? How did we arrive at that particular conclusion?
Yeah, thank you so much for that question. I'm so happy that you have sought clarifications in respect to what the governor said. And
Yes.
There are a variety of misinterpretation, and some are deliberate for people who want to achieve their political goals. And I'm here to also reaffirm what the governor said. First, that the state is under siege. And number two, that some politicians, political actors in Abuja behind the sponsorship of some attacks in Benue. First of all, before you get to understand exactly why the outcry by the governor, you have to know, first of all, that we have two sets of crises in Benue. The first one is the consistent, or rather the resurgence of invasion by terrorists from other states who consistently invade the state, kill the locals, occupy their land, drive them away, and, destroy farms. That is the one done by terrorists. People who invade you while you are sleeping, invade your home while you are sleeping. They kill, they maim, they rape, they destroy farms. The people run away, and so they occupy the land. And then the second one is the banditry amongst our people. There are some outlaws, especially at the Sankra axis of the state. Sankra is a sector, part of the state that is neighboring Taraba State. And it comprises of 3 local governments, namely Logo, Ukum, and Katsina-Ala. That area has been under a set of insecurity by our own people. You remember the story of the late Ghana that was killed. That was a bandit leader that had the people who were terrorizing that place and those 3 local governments. And when he was killed, there was no leadership. The remnants dismembered and they formed their own gangs. And you have more than 5 gang leaders in that area, causing havoc and robbing people, killing people. Remember, a few days ago, somebody called Government Ucha, that's how he gave his name. He took an AK-47, went out and killed 11 people in that place. That is a guy within the state. So we are battling with that kind of insecurity at that axis of the state. And then you have the one by herders that used to come here with AK-47 and cows. And so while they graze and enter your farm and you are angry, they kill you and they kill whoever they see around so that you run away and their cattle will feed on your crop. Now they have graduated from that stage. They no longer come with their cattle. You see people coming on motorbikes, hundreds of them, sometimes 50 of them, three per bike. They invade the community, and you know that these are the people who have come to kill. They have not come to graze. They have come to kill, they have come to maim, they come to wreak havoc the way they want. And this one is not happening just in the 3 local governments I mentioned earlier. It's happening across the state. In some local governments, they can assess. And these local governments still include the same 3 local governments that will have some outlaws disturbing. And then others include Agatu, Apa, Gwe West, and Guma local government. These are the local governments that these terrorists are now wreaking havoc and causing all sorts of atrocities that they can cause. And so when you have a state where you don't know where terrorists are coming, they invade, they kill, they maim, they rape, and they take occupation of your land. And it's not happening in one local government. It's happening in 2, 3, 4, 5 local governments. Then you are bound to cry out that the state is under siege. Because if this is happening in these local governments, give those people an opportunity, it will happen in all the local governments, the 23 local governments of the state. So the governor was right to have said that his state is under siege. And then on a second note, I just told you about the outlaws, gang leaders that are operating at the Sankra axis of the state. I'm still talking of the 3 local governments.
Yes.
These ones caused a lot of havoc to a point that the governor decided to institute a commission of inquiry, a judicial commission of inquiry. So when the governor was discussing and he was asked about the development in that area, he said he has preliminary report of the judiciary panel of inquiry. And in that preliminary report, it has indicated that some political actors in Abuja are sponsoring or motivating these gang leaders to cause havoc in that part of the state. And that is what the governor said. And he went ahead to say that he won't say it now, he won't mention names now, until the full report is out. And so I will tell you here, everybody knows the power of a governor and the president, the chief executive officer, and the chief security officer of a state. The kind of intelligence they gather is not the kind of intelligence that you and I can sit here and get it. And when people begin to think that he was supposed to make the names public, the governor is not shying away from making the names public, but he said he's waiting for the full report to be out for him to make it public. And he even said that the full report will be out in a week. And so nobody should panic. Those whose conscience is clear should not panic. Let us wait for the full report. He said this at the backdrop that he was actually asked of the development there. But to have it very clear, and some people deliberately want to misinform the public, and they are thinking that the governor said it is the kind of terrorist attack perpetrated by the people who once said, he once said, and not even the people from the country, but they're hired by the haters to come and help them conquer the land. Those are not the attacks that the governor said sponsored by politicians here. It is the kind of attacks that will have gang leaders, the outlaws that are tormenting the people within and even killing the people within that he was talking about. I have to make this very clear to people. We have two sets of attacks, two sets of criminality happening in the state. And then this I read, just like you said you read in a paper somewhere. I read in a paper somewhere where the minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the minister, hello?
Yes, I can hear you. Please continue.
The Minister of Defense do say that what is happening in Benue is a communal clash, that the two people were ethnic groups are clashing on a daily basis or something. That is not a true position. I'm surprised. That is not a true position. The Benue, the ethnic groups in Benue are very clear to everybody to know. And so they are not fighting. What we are seeing here is that some people who want to take over the land, who want to land grab, have done every effort, and the last they are doing now is to go out there and hire people, to hire armed men, hire a set of terrorists to come and help them execute this. And so they come in and cause this havoc and go back. They don't come and do that and stay. Then those who are here will not occupy those lands because the people are afraid to go there again.
Do you
feel in Benue is not a communal clash?
Okay.
It's a terrorist attack, an incessant invasion of the land.
Do you feel comfortable enough to identify which people we're talking about here, especially when it comes to land grabbing? I know it can be a very delicate subject, but at least people must know who these people are that are trying to grab their land, even if they can't put names to faces, but at least are we talking about which people?
And I earlier said, and the governor even said it, that before now, headers will come in with AK-47, AK-49, kill people, sack communities, maim and rape, and people will run away for fear.
Yes, we're talking of. Even though Fulani are not the only cattle herders, are we talking here about Fulani herders and indigenous farmers? Are we? I'm asking the question.
Farmers, we have indigenous farmers, the natives here. You cannot be farming and attacking people at the same time. But at the same time, you can agree with me that crops and cattle or hares cannot cohabit.
Yes.
Because there's no cow that will see a greenish plant and will not want to eat.
Okay, exactly.
And so this cannot cohabit. So as you move with your cattle and they see the greenish yam growing there or cassava, they are bound to eat it. And by the time they eat it, the farmer who gets this thing, because that is his own livelihood, that's his own business, he's not happy. He raises alarm that, no, you must pay for what you have done. And then you kill him.
What do you make?
It's not that the man is clashing with you.
Okay,
you are the one that have taken the fight to him.
What do you make of the Mieti Allah, statement that has been covered, that their people, they are getting the short end of the stick, that their cattle are rustled. We still have not been able to recover them. Not only that, we are actually losing members, and you know, just calling attention that they need protection and they need to get their cattle back. They need to be compensated for their losses. Perhaps you've heard this.
No, I've not heard that. And again, I wouldn't say that they are lying or they are something else. I won't say that for now. But what I know for sure is that you have been seeing pictures of houses that have been razed. You have been seeing pictures of people who have been killed. You have been seeing pictures of people who have been raped. You have been seeing pictures of areas where people are running hater-scatter for fear of their life, by these terrorists invading our communities.
Yeah.
If people are saying they are losing members,
yes,
I don't know whether you have seen at once where they have displayed their members, or the police or the security agents have said that these are the people that are killed by the Benue community, or I don't know. But I don't know. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm not a security person. So maybe security personnel may answer you. Whether actually they have seen where cattle are rustled, or they have seen where members of the Miatiala or Magban are killed. That one, I can't say because I'm not in the bush there checking security people should be able to answer that. But I'm telling you what I know as a government official, and I'm telling you what I know, and I'm emphasizing that what the governor said, he stands by that, and he knows exactly what he said there. The governor has a full grip of the state.
So
the chief security officer of this state.
I beg your pardon. I just wanted to ask. I just wanted to ask the effect of law enforcement within, you know, the state. Are we saying that the law enforcement there is totally overwhelmed? Because by the time the governor goes on air like that, I would guess, without knowing for sure until it is confirmed, that law enforcement has been overwhelmed in Benue.
Yes, you remember the governor even said the level of investment has overwhelmed the law enforcement agents. So he requested for additional troops to the state. And the additional troops were indeed sent here. And when it happened again after they were sent, the chief of army staff has to come here and hold meetings with some commands here, and also held a very closed door meeting with the governor. And so I think going forward, whatever is the strategy that he wants to employ, so that our people will be safe, so that Benue will be safe, will be done. I also know that this is the farming season, this is the cropping season. Our people need to go to farm. And the governor also is always calling that everything that could be done for these people to go back to farm should be done at this time. Because he has done his own part and he has been doing it. He has sought collaboration. He has been doing everything possible. He has also done a lot of logistics supply to security agencies and the needed cooperation. He has mobilized the vigilante for them to be working with the conventional security agents to be able to give them direction on what is happening here. There's nothing that he is supposed to do as a governor that he has not done yet. And the security agencies, their leaders have been coming here and they can affirm that.
All right. I'll tell you what, Teso, thank you very much for this overview, trying to expatiate on the governor's announcement itself. We also have with us, I'm glad to say, another security expert and professional, Dr. Tony Ofoyetan, Director General, International Institute of Professional Security. Good morning to you, Dr. Ofoyetan. Thank you very much for cutting into your Salah holidays to come on our program.
Good morning.
All right, then. Now
I can hear you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, you heard the Chief Press Secretary to the Benue State Governor there expatiating on what his principal put out there. So, Tony, what do you think, what do you make of the security situation in Benue State, seeing as the governor has said that they are overwhelmed?
I don't know if you can be more audible, but I I guess you are asking if I should do an overview of what the
security situation. The security situation as shared with us by the governor and expatiated upon by his chief press secretary just now.
Well, let me start by sympathizing with Benue State government. This is not new. The former governor had a fair share, not just a fair share, his life was even at stake. He was attacked, and Meetiala came out and owned up to the fact that they actually wanted to kill him. If not for the fact that the person that was asked to do the job didn't do a good job. Until today, the federal government had not done anything about that. So you can see the precarious situation that Benue State government is. If a sitting government can be attacked, governor can be attacked, then you can imagine what has been happening to the average Benue citizen. But having said so, I think that the governor too had to, on its own, look inward. Because if you are saying that there are politicians who are actually sabotaging the effort of the security agencies at ensuring security in your state, now why don't you look inward? Why don't you come all out? I know very well that Benue State, they have what they call the Benue State Homeland Security. To what extent has the governor been able to fund that agency? It's its initiative. I think they had one air commander or something like that as the head of the director general of that agency. And that agency is supposed to look at the internal security of Benue State, as especially with respect to terrorism, banditry, and the like. To what extent has the governor been able to come all out in funding, in training, in equipping this body? Since this is your initiative, I expect that just like Amotekun came out, just like you have some other states that came out with their own initiative and they were able to fund it, that would have also been able to help. No matter how small the percentage of help is, Benue State need all approaches to be able to curb the incessant attack now. I agree very well that Benue State is under siege. Not just Benue State alone. The whole of the north, if not the whole of Nigeria, is presently under siege. It's not an exaggeration. It's a statement of fact. If you look at the impetus and the bravado with which you see this terrorist, pure terrorist operate, you will know that they have political backings. Now, it now behoves on Mr. President to now look at who are those that are backing this act of terrorism, in or out of government. Why don't we make example of them? If we're able to make example of them, it will be a different ball game entirely. Then,
Tony, I beg your pardon.
The government should be able
Tony,
to
sorry for jumping in. Tony, sorry for jumping in. This whole point about people in Abuja, politicians sponsoring them, sponsoring some people to come and wreak havoc, for what objective? For what objective?
I may not be able to. The governor, like his aide said, he has first-hand information more than some of us that are outside. But what I know very well, if I'm talking professionally, as a security professional, I've always said this, there's what we call sleeper cell in the act of terrorism. Sleeper cells are those that are sympathetic to the act of terrorism. And they could be governors, they could be ministers, they could be members of House of Assembly. They will come all out with their political might and their financial might if there is anything that will go against their field officers. So if they put field officers on ground, maybe for the purpose of taking over a particular locality, there are those that are going to ensure that laws are backing them out. There are those that are going to ensure that those that are on the field are not prosecuted or persecuted or even arrested or even killed. So they want to make sure that their adversaries are minimum might of resistance. So that is the role of the sleeper cell. And they spread across every cadre and every level and every layer. So if they say that there are politicians that are sympathetic or that call the
tunes of terrorism in Benue State, as a security professional, I will tell you that that is one of the templates through which terrorism operates. It is not those field boys that are actually the terrorists. The field boys are just what? They are just operatives. They come, they die, they are replaced. But the main terrorists are those that are financiers, those that are the strategists, those that are the political backers, those that have the resources to be able to fund terrorism. They are the actual terrorists. So that's why if the governor is saying that they have politicians that are, fueling the act of terrorism in Benue State and in Nigeria as a whole, it won't be out of place at all. It could be domestic sponsors. It can also be at the international level. You could have people at the and don't forget that security-wise, at national security level, Benue State is very strategic, and those in the military, those in security agencies, they understand this very well. So Benue State is not a state that must fall into the hand of any terrorist group in any way whatsoever. Yes. It is very strategic to our national security. And that is why it is important that Mr. President should come all out to be able to defend that state. Apart from the fact that you say it's a food basket of the nation and the like, which is also, a very veritable one. Don't forget that Benue is one of the most fertile land we have in the country. So if you look at the accumulation of all, you'll not be able to say who is going to benefit. It's like ASI is going to benefit if terrorists take over Borno State, like many ungoverned spaces in Niger State that they have taken over now. Now, you also talk about there are those that if you call it conspiracy theory, I won't object to that. But there are those that are advocating that there are certain sector of people, they don't have land, they don't have anything, any place they call their own. What they want to do is to acquire land. And you can also see the campaign and the trajectory moving from Borno State down to, all the north to northwest to northeast, north central, as we speak now. The campaign is unending. So for me, as far as I'm concerned, if the governor says that he has agent provocateurs at the national level or even in the state, I won't, I won't join issues on that. Okay. But I expect him to look inward. There's this Nigerian Forest Security Services that the National Assembly had just passed the bill. Why can't the state government key into that? Because these are people that are good at when it comes to landscaping the forest. Their security agencies, their bill has passed. It's just for Mr. President to sign it, and it become an act of the parliament. And not just that, they are also empowered to bear arms. That become a good counter-terrorist measure, because no matter what the governor is going to do, if BSEC, Benue State Homeland Security Agency, is not armed, is useless. I'm sorry to use that word, but it is useless. It's just going to be an academic exercise, because you are fighting against people that are armed to the teeth. You are talking of a minimum of AK-45, AK-59, AK-49, just name it. And to the extent that RPGs, they have access to even gas masks. They can even bring down your drone and all those stuff like that. So it's a template that government should really look into the background. Where are these arms and ammunition coming from? The Benue State should be able to look at its own borderline. Yes, it's bordered by so many states. Now, why don't you look at how to be able to map out a strategy in such a manner that people that come in and out of your state at all your border levels are well manned and well controlled? Then, of course, those that are the local vigilantes, the local kings and traditional rulers, Benue State Security, Homeland Security should bring them on board, should be able to have its own, homegrown security mechanism that will be able to prevent this incessant attack. And they should be able to do it in such a manner that they symbiotically operate at the same time. Because you see that the attack on Benue is coordinated from different places at the same time. Yes. But the good thing is that the average people in Benue State, they have this gut, and their security, they are good in security. Many of them are in the military, many of them are in security, in private security industry in Nigeria. So why can't they come together? Okay. Thank you. Okay, Tony, I beg your pardon. Actually, I was going to ask if you think, how much of this you think is just political, or how much of it is religious, and how much of it is criminal, or is it a mixture of all the three? This was just thoughts playing on my mind as you were speaking, but
we don't have the time. I've got to go on a break and then come back, and then I'll engage Teso Kulas, Chief Press Secretary to the Governor, as well as your good self when we come back. Do please stay with us. Indeed, welcome back, and we're looking at the troubling situation in Benue State, where the governor has had to cry out, Governor Hyacinth Alia, that his state is under siege by terrorists and bandits. And we actually have with us the Chief Press Secretary to Mr. Governor in Benue State, Teso Kulas, who has also shed light on the subject. And also with us is Dr. Tony Ofoyetan, DG, International Institute of Professional Security. Let me, because I've not heard from you, Teso, in quite a bit, let me let you kickstart this particular aspect of my inquiry. The governor himself has said that the recent attacks that have claimed lives is beyond herders, farmers clashes. So how much of this is really religious, how much of it is political, and how much of it is just outright criminality?
Yeah, I cannot delve into trying to separate or trying to categorize the kind of attacks, the kind of criminality we're having here. As far as I know, terrorism is terrorism, whether it's rooted in religious, ethnicity, or whichever way you call it, it's criminality. And that is what is happening here.
Yes, but because you did say, sorry to jump in, because you did say when you spoke that, look, there were, as it were, homegrown criminals. Those you acknowledge are actually our people. And then you are saying that those who come from outside. And so...
Yeah, exactly what I'm saying. I said those who are coming outside, like the governors told you, the intent from their body language, from what they are doing, is the intent is more of land grabbing.
Okay.
The terrorists that are coming from outside, whereas the ones we have here that are causing a lot of problems here, they are typical criminals, bandits that are causing problem, kidnapping people, requesting for ransom, and troubling people who take their produce to the market, and they're robbing people. And these are the ones that are homegrown in the axis of the state.
So because they see the state as a soft target that they can at will, trounce on.
Pardon?
They are seeing the state, from what you are saying, as a soft target that they can trample upon at will. These are the criminals that you are describing. For whatever reason. Is it, whether it is to, for ransom, robbery, and all the other dastardly things you spoke about, abductions, rapes, and all of that?
Yeah, this, you see, I didn't give you the background to that aspect of gangsterism, but I gave you a brief of what was happening here. I told you how some people at a point, there was a kingpin here who was known across the country, whose name was Ghana. He was killed. He was the one that started this gangsterism.
Okay. So this is speaking for the criminal aspect of the problem. Speaking for the purely criminal.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So that was purely criminal. And then, to answer you clearly, they are criminals, they are outlaws, but then most often, from what we gather, that may come to the full glare of everybody, like they're gonna promise. You see politicians trying to also use them. Criminals are there. Nobody, just like my friend was discussing about terrorism. People organize themselves into terrorists, and then those who want to commit terrorism just find them as ready tools to use for their benefits. This is exactly what is happening here. These criminals have been there, and then now, from what we have gathered, the governor has said it, from what we have gathered, politicians feel they should use them for their political gain. And it's outright criminality, but then the aspect of politics is now coming to play in. It has been there. What the governor is saying is not the first time. When Governor Otom was there, when Governor Susan was there, these outlaws from that axis of the state were still there. Susan spoke about them, Otom spoke about them, and then my boss is not talking about them. So it is not that he just initiated an idea that politicians are sponsoring those outlaws.
Okay, I hear you. Okay, Tony, let me come to you. Is it too difficult or perhaps politically incorrect to try to understand if there's a religious aspect to this, if there's a, is it political aspect to this, to what is going on? Because it just looks like the victim in all of this is the good state of, Benue itself. That seems to be a soft target that people seem to, these criminal elements, either whether you're a terrorist, whether you're a criminal, the one thing they have in common is that they seem stronger than the law, than law enforcement in the place.
Well, let me start by saying that it's not as if they are stronger. It's just that we've not actually had the political will from the government to be able to say enough is enough. I can assure you that our military guys are 10 times better than all these so-called bandits and the like that. Whatever name you give them, they cannot even stand the torrential attack of the military for even half a day. So that one I know very well. And that is where government should come in, because a situation where the military will come all out against the terrorists, and the next day you are hearing member of the House of Assembly saying that the military is shooting into, is abusing human rights, or one international organization is saying some rubbish, I'm sorry to use that word, against our military, can be very demoralizing. And these are all strategic approach to demoralize the military. But having said so, the issue is whether what is happening in Benue State can be linked to politics, can be linked to religion, or even sheer criminality. For me, it's a combination of all. But more especially because you have people who are interested in, taking over a particular locality, not just in government, but in terms of imposing their own religious faith, is a consideration, is a possibility. Because if you look at what is happening in Benue State, those that are attacking are from a particular religion, and those that are also being attacked are predominantly from another religion. So that also is a possibility. Now, if you look at it from that angle, politically, I may be a little bit weary because APC is in power in Benue State. PDP was in power in Benue State. And now you have APC in power. So on what ground, if it is political, on what ground are we going to say that the attack is a political attack? Now, if it used to be political attack because it was under PDP, what of now that is under APC? What will be the justification for bringing this torrential attack? And it's even becoming more worse than ever before. So on that template, I don't think I may be able to. Now, the issue of criminality, what criminals, in local criminals, what they do is to look, the vulnerability that have been created as a result of this torrential attack is what they exploit. But their own exploitation does not involve the killing of children, the killing of women, the killing of villages and the like. What they are basically interested in doing is maybe get what they need to get from their victims and go away. That's all. It's only maybe pocket of resistance that you talk about killing and the like. So criminality is not the major cause of this incessant attack. It is pure terrorism. And when you talk about terrorism, terrorism is either you want to grab people's land or you want to impose your religion on that particular sect.
Because so Governor Alia said that the attacks, Governor Alia says that the attacks go beyond farmer herders clash.
You are not audible.
Well, I said to back what you're saying up, the governor himself has said that what is going on is beyond herder-farmer clash, that it is way beyond that. But before I come back to you, Reverend Dominic has come on the line. Good morning, Reverend Dominic. Good morning, Chief Jore. Good morning. Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes, we can hear you. Thank you for calling in. Okay, thank you. Jore, good morning to your guests. Thank you. Does it worry anybody, or does it worry you that, like you worry me, that we have fought this battle since 2010, at least actively now, 15 years? There's no major actor in court or in prison today. There's no maybe minor actor, maybe say politicians, that is standing trial today. There's nobody we have convicted and say either he would die by hanging or go for life jail because of act of terrorism in Nigeria for 15 years. Does it make sense to you, Yori? Now, that is by the side. Yori, honestly, if we must overcome this terrorism act, we must declare state of emergency in our security in Nigeria. It's not about only Benue State. It's not about only Northern State. I told you there's a local government in my state that these non-state actors have taken over for over 3 years. Also, local government in Imo State. We don't know where they're binding. We don't know where they're hesitant. They're taking the whole local government and just everybody out in this money in Imo State. Number 3, the people that managing our president is not helping matters, which is his personal assistant. I had a young man called Bawa. That man terrorized us last year, when 2023, when Mr. President chose a Muslim, he insulted every one of us. But now he's a spokesperson to Mr. President. He came from God. Do you know what he said last week on channel television? He said the problem is media, you. That you were exaggerating the number of people that killed. How can a man say that the problem of terrorism is media? That what we're talking about, what we complain about is not true. That we're exaggerating it. How can a president anchorman use that kind of word in the public? What do we say? What is he saying to Mr. President? Mr. President and his people who work for him, especially people who work for Mr. President, are not helping matters. They don't give the full information of what is happening. How many jobs shall we lose in Nigeria? I will say enough is enough. Number 4, do you know what our government is doing, which I hate? When they begin to equate security by number, in days of Buhari, 20 people died. Now, 30 people died. So it is improving. Can you imagine that kind of idea? That yesterday, in Buhari government, it was 30. Today, it is 20. It's improving. Look at how we are measuring the blood of Nigerians. Even if one person, you can't stand up and say enough is enough. In Benue State, I can understand the governor in Benue State is also helping matters. There are times people die in your state. You stand up for it and say it is A or B or C. You say it is politicians. I'm a politician. You're a politician. Who is a politician? Can't you mention somebody's name? It's Mr. A. It's Mr. B. So we know how to solve this problem. I thought they say it's religion. What is religion in security? I'm a pastor. What is religion in killing people? Even though as a Muslim, what is religion in killing people? There's no religion here. There's no politics here. What you're fighting is inability of our people, Nigerians, to say enough is enough. And we mentioned them by their names. Whether they are sponsors of people who are doing this. That's not like religion. That's not politics. It's about the will. And I pray that Mr. President will rise up and leave this sacrifice and work with him to know that enough is enough. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Reverend Dominic. Thank you very much for calling in. Teso, you recall that, in fact, I think you were telling us that the governor has said that he just doesn't want to be too hasty so as not to, jeopardize or compromise investigations that are ongoing, but that he would mention names in the fullness of time. Because this will go back to, take on what Tony was talking about earlier, and what the Reverend has just finished saying, that maybe the time has come for us to have the political will to say enough is enough. You just heard the security expert there say that all these things that people are talking about, Nigerian army is more than capable if the political will exists. But we've been saying this not necessarily relating to Benue State, the whole issue of terrorism in other parts of the country. In the past regime, it was said that we didn't have the political will to do the necessary. And I don't know, there you probably, do you want to sort of, what would you say to that? Or would you rather leave that where the governor has left it? That I will speak when the time comes, maybe so as not to compromise investigations. But it seems that there's a political will issue.
Well, thank you so much. You heard the governor say it, and I wouldn't want to preempt whatsoever my boss is going to say. But I must tell you as well that Nigerians are crying, and like you said, it's not just in Benue, but I think it is high time Mr. President listen very clearly to what we're saying here, because what is happening here, it shouldn't be happening. This is a state that is called the food basket of the nation, and indeed we are living by that, especially now that you have a governor who is doing everything possible to redeem the appellation of this state, which is that of the food basket of the nation. Last year, there was bumper harvest here. And this time around, this is cropping season. And all is not well at this point. And so everything needs to be done for Nigerians to smile. Because if Benue is hungry, if the food basket is empty, then Nigerians cannot smile. That is the situation. And so we believe that more should be done. But at the same time, you know, the support has been coming. The support has been coming in. But I think we need to do more.
Yeah.
My colleague, my you have a security expert there. He just said the Benue State government should do more than what we are doing here. But I can tell you, in this country, you have laws governing the country. The governor has set up another security outfit, which is more a vigilante, that's Anyamyo. And the Anyamyo people are a combination of security agents drawn from the DSS, from police, and the other security agents. And then there is another one that is civil protection guard. All these efforts are meant to complement the efforts of the conventional security. The terrain here may be difficult, but if these people are working together with the conventional security, they may be able to direct them accordingly. Where they don't know how to go about, they will direct them. But there's a limit to which they can hold gadgets, they can hold arms. And so when you say Benue State government has a homeland security, they should take it very serious, and you give reference to Amotekun, and no, what is homeland security here is different from the Amotekun that he is mentioning. What needs to be done is that the state governor is supposed to provide security logistics, is supposed to motivate the security, is supposed to be up and doing, to gather intelligence and give to these security agents to swing into action and do something. And the gentlemen, the vigilante people here, they are liaising with the communities, are doing enough to get the needed intelligence and feed the governor or feed the other security agencies and the other outfits that have been created, like the White Stroke and the rest of them. That much is being done.
Okay.
So tell me, if the government decides to say that, he will arm the people beyond what the federal government has described in the Constitution, then we will be living in a banana republic where everybody is taking arms.
All right, indeed, we can't have that. Tony, returning to the question of having the political will, as you said, to say enough is enough. It's not the first time commentators have called for such political will to be deployed. In the past, perhaps one could have hazarded a guess as to what was debarring it. I don't know, do you think those conditions still exist you had alluded or suggested that, look, even the army, for example, who don't need more than half a day to get rid of this rubbish. But still, they have to be careful before all sorts of, busybody, international humanitarian organizations begin to say that the Nigerian army is ruthless. It is killing its people. But that political will, are you optimistic that we can get it to do the necessary to bring down this violence? Because President Tinubu must be watching, the NSA must be watching all of this. Surely they must have ideas.
When the press secretary was talking, he said something about, Benue State having been able to do a lot, and I concede. There is no government that would not be doing a lot, but he also mentioned the fact that the security agencies have not been able to arrest anybody. As we speak, that there's no prosecution and all those stuff like that. In short, there was one of the attacks. We learned that the military base were not even too far from where the attack, very recently, from where the attack was carried out. And the argument was that those that were there have not been given the marching order to respond. And that is how, sacrosanct the profession can be, very regimented as it were. So you won't blame anybody for that. Now, when I talk about political will, I look forward to a lot of things from the government that will give the signal to even the terrorists themselves, and they will change. A lot of things will change. Number one is the DSS, NSA office, they have lists of those that are financiers of terrorism in Nigeria and even globally. They know them. Now, the question is this: why the shielding? That is one fundamental area. Once the presidency is able to overcome that area and come all out, you look at some other countries. You saw when this Dubai also, that came out to say they have names of terrorists and the like. They even, had to send some of our people to
Tony,
jail.
we've run out of time.
Unpretentiously and all those stuff like that. But
fortunately, we've been together long enough for you to understand.
I'm not hearing your question.
We've run out of time, but I did hear what you just said. We've run out of time. I want to thank you very much, Dr. Tony Ofoyetan, DG International Institute of Professional Security, for coming on and giving us the benefit, of your experience on this. And also to thank Teso Kulas. Mr. Kulas is the Chief Press Secretary to the Benue State Governor. Thank you both, gentlemen, for airing this subject matter that we hope that we can get on top of very, very soon, much, much sooner than later. Okay, we're going to have to leave it there. That's our program today. Do please join us tomorrow, the official beginning of the week, because of the Salah holidays. I'll see you then, God willing. Bye-bye for now.